Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to an episode of my F1 2019 career mode, episode number 126 today for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in Season 6. This is it, not only the final race of Season 6 of my F1 2019 career mode, but also my final episode of this entire series on F1 2019. After 126 episodes, quite poetically, we're ending the series and our final season fighting for the Drivers' World Championship with our two F2 story mode AI drivers, my Renault teammate Lucas Weber, of course, and Devin Butler in the Red Bull. Can we sign off this series with a 5th World Championship? Well, I guess we're just going to have to find out and wait and see. But before the race, of course, we need to qualify. So for the final time of this series, I'm going to say let's head over onto Saturday and see how we do over one lap.
Here we are at the beautiful Yas Island circuit where qualifying is about to begin. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the action. And as we wait, poised for the start of what will hopefully be a thrilling qualifying, why don't you tell us, Anthony Davidson, about the things you can do to really get the most out of a car in a session like this?
Well, you're largely limited by the Parc Fermé regulations, of course. Back in the old days, pre-2004, you'd work on both a qualifying setup and a race setup over practice, and then swap them over after qualifying. So the race car was quite different at times to the qualifying car. Nowadays, though, you have to find a compromise that works for both. There are a few things that you can still adjust during the session, such as the differential, the brake bias, and the front wing angle, but that's about it. So it's more about optimizing what you do have and adapting your own style to suit the track conditions.
I say here we go then into our first flying lap of short qualifying then, and quite an emotional one, I guess, because it's the last time I'll be driving these maxed out F1 cars on this game in this career mode. So hopefully we can try and round it out with a decent showing in qualifying to set ourselves up for the race, of course, through the last bend. A little bit of oversteer, but provisional pole at the moment. Then beaten, though, by both George Russell in the Red Bull and Lucas Weber. Butler at the moment down the order, it would seem. He was initially there, but I think his time got deleted, unfortunately. We get about 3/10 though, nearly, in the first sector, down to the hairpin. By the time we get to the end of the lap, almost teetering on the edge of over half a second, a little bit wide on the exit, but across the line, and it will be provisional pole there for us ahead of Lucas Weber in second place, and it was Devin Butler in third. But then as we come through to the end of our third flying lap, for some reason, again, as has been the case a few times, some times have been deleted or moved around. Russell's now second place, Hamilton third. I've made an absolute mess of that final run as we spin it round the last straight. I mean, I'd already lost all the time anyway because it wasn't a pretty fast lap on that third run, unfortunately, and then I lost the front wing, and then obviously the Alfa Romeo got in the way. I don't know what's it been as of late in this career mode. The AI have been getting such in the way so many times in qualifying in my final runs, but it won't matter in the end because we go towards to retire into the garage. I will still be on pole position then for the final race of this career mode series, and quite nicely and thankfully for their sake, I guess, Devin Butler and Weber do finally put in a time that does not get deleted. So it's going to be quite amazingly myself on pole, Butler in second place, and Lucas Weber in third. You could not want it any better than this going into this final race. The three guys in the championship fight, all on the top 3 positions, as we have been a lot of the time this entire season. Obviously, Verstappen was cobbled in there previously, but now he's no longer really in the fight. I guess he could be a spanner in the works though in the race, but it really is going to be about this top 3 of myself, Weber, and Butler, and I can't wait. But to be honest, at the same time, I'm feeling quite tense because these two AI drivers, we've seen how good they are. As AI, they are unbelievably consistent. They're so alien-like sometimes when they get clean air, so it's going to be a real fight here. Abu Dhabi especially, anything could happen. Traffic, tyre wear, chaos. I'm ready for it. Hopefully you guys are. Let's go to the grid for the final time in F1 2019 career mode.
So here we are, ready to go racing for one final time this year. Another season of victories, controversies and rivalries lies in our wake. And just one challenge remains here in the United Arab Emirates on a circuit that made its spectacular debut back in 2009. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The drivers will be racing here at the Yas Island circuit through 21 corners and a lap distance of around 3.4 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass, with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, turns 8 and 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed, and plenty of drama to be found in the laps ahead. Alongside me for one final time this season, it's Anthony Davidson. What a year it's been, Ant. It's been an absolute pleasure. And now, how are you feeling ahead of Lights Out tonight?
Well, it's been a breathtaking year of F1 action, and there's one more sting in the tail to come here tonight, I reckon. We've been all around the world, but there's still everything to fight for, and what an occasion it is as well. There's a real sense of anticipation every time we come here to Abu Dhabi, and here's hoping it's a fitting end to a very special season.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. The engineer lines up on pole position, edging out Devon Butler, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Weber, Russell, Lewis Hamilton, and Kvyat, Stroll, Verstappen, Gasly, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Leclerc, Hülkenberg, Sergio Perez. They've taken a grid penalty, and Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Bottas, Romain Grosjean, and Lando Norris. Vettel and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So thankfully there are no engine penalties or grid penalties to talk about then with myself, Butler or Weber. I was kind of a little bit worried because that has been the case sometimes in the past, but no, we can get a nice fair ending to this season then with this championship decider. In terms of the strategy then, my team have selected me the bottom strategy of soft to 2 sets of mediums, which is peculiar. Kind of makes sense though, because the tyre wear has been quite high on this Renault. It definitely was a little bit of an issue for me last race at Brazil, but I'm going to try and go and be a little bit more ambitious and go for 2 sets of softs, but I'm going to use the mediums in the middle of the race. We've done that a lot of times at Abu Dhabi, hopefully giving us a bit of a punchier car right at the end maybe. There is also maybe the possibility of a one-stop. I know that sometimes has been quite a great strategy around here, so if we're at the front, we can try and control it and kind of navigate how we do that ourselves. But as usual, I'll just play by ear as we go on in the race and kind of see how we feel on the set of tyres there and then. But here we go then. After 126 episodes, we come through to the final race of this career mode and fighting for our 5th World Drivers' Championship with our 2 F2 Story Mode AI as we go to 5 red lights to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. One last time for this career mode. Fire lights are out and we're underway, and it is a great start for us for a rarity here in this career mode. Into turn 1 though, Butler round the outside. Great dive bomb from him. Weber's alter there trying to get in the mix, and as we go through turn 2, Weber's there on my inside. We have to lift off, give him some space. Butler up into P1. Weber now up into P2, so all things considered, it's turned from a great start to a pretty poor one as we're down to P3, just ahead of George Russell. Butler already with a little gap then to Weber, but of course it's early days in this race, of course, and the DRS will come into play for sure down this back straight. But for now, we're on the back foot. We're down to P3, but in many ways that could help us out in terms of chasing after and reeling back in Butler, because I feel like it may have been a sitting duck being out in first place once the DRS gets activated. As you can see behind, some moves already being made by the Ferrari of Max Verstappen, who qualified quite poorly once again in this career mode series. We now move on to lap number 3. Weber now with DRS as it's activated on this lap, closing up to Devon Butler as we go down this main straight into that left-hander. Butler goes defensive, Weber on the right. They're going to be side by side. Weber's going to get the nose in for first place. He's going to push Butler wide. Now that's going to invite us. We get a good exit, clean run, DRS open for us. We can get one toe off Butler, then switch to Weber, get the double toe, and here we go, 3 wide and across on the right-hand side there, and leaping up into first place. A little bit of contact made with Butler on the front wing, but we're up into first. Somehow we managed it, but straight away on the next straight, on lap number 4, on this main straight, Butler on the left, Weber comes through with DRS as well, and it's going to be 3 wide down this main straight. Where have I seen this before? Oh wait, episode number 1. You cannot write this stuff. Absolutely insane. Myself, Weber and Butler battling out just like we did back in F2, but this time doing it on the big stage in Formula 1 for a World Drivers' Championship. We're up into first place. Butler and Weber still squabbling along. We somehow managed to survive that entire thing in the middle and didn't get pinched off quite badly by Butler and Weber, and we're now going to live to fight for another day in first place. But let's take a look at a replay of this and just relive this moment here. Butler on the left-hand side, Weber on the right of us here. Here it got very, very hairy because we got very close to that Red Bull, and even Butler kind of cut the corner to even make the corner work. And you can see as we switch back to clips here from episode number 1 of this career mode, WEBER on the right, Butler on the left, and even then, I've only just noticed now, Butler cut the corner back then in the F2 race, so absolute biblical scenes. It literally is a carbon copy of what we did as F2 drivers. Here we are then, 126 episodes later, and we're doing the exact same thing, but like I said, just in the top formula for Formula 1 for a World Drivers' Championship. Absolutely stunning. This is literally what we're hoping for, literally what we wanted to see from F1 2019 career mode when we first knew about the F2 storyline. Hopefully a storyline that was built like this, and I am so happy that we're able to see it play out now in this career mode there. Hopefully you guys are as well. But anyway, enough reminiscing, enough getting caught up in that. We've got a race still on our hands, and we're still in first place, but WEBER and Butler are squabbling over P2, as well as George Russell getting in the mix. And for now, it looks like Butler remains in P2. WEBER getting overtaken by Russell. No, he actually leaps through on the outside there and makes a dive around the outside. And he actually gets the move maybe done. I think we'll just have to see it. A very awkward camera angle there as we try and zoom in. And WEBER is going to drop down to P3 and have to slot in there. But he was defending from Russell and then turned that into an attacking move on Butler there. So very keen to obviously get a move on and try and move up towards us, of course. So we now move back to our POV on lap number 8. We've been trying to look after the tyres as best we can, but Butler's reeling us in. But actually, thankfully, in a straight line, seems like compared to Brazil, here at Abu Dhabi, we're a little bit more equalised there, as Butler was unable to make a move. And instead now, he's going to come in then for a pit stop here. We're going to continue on. WEBER continues on as well now, though. So that's a little bit interesting. I wasn't too sure when to come in, to be honest. And I wanted to see what Butler was going to do in terms of his strategy. And after seeing him come in, I think he's coming, I believe, onto a set of medium tyres. I'm going to come in now, lap number 9, and do the exact same and follow the strategy I planned at the very start of this Grand Prix. A casualty of that, though, is that WEBER is going to come in as well, and that's not a planned double stack. I can promise. I'm not trying to do what I did at Austria to WEBER there. It's just an unfortunate thing, but if I did not pit on this lap, I feel like I would have lost that majorly to Butler. So I've got to think about myself, obviously. Think selfish. I can't think about my teammate in a championship fight with my teammate, so I've just got to do me. And so we come down under the tunnel, that very unique pit lane exit, and we're going to come through into some decent clean air, and I still think ahead of Devin Butler, who's behind a little bit of traffic. I will have some as well to maybe deal with Ricciardo ahead and the McLaren closing up as we move through then the second phase of this Grand Prix. Myself on medium tyres, Butler as well on mediums. Russell is in a net P3 then on mediums, and unfortunately for Lucas WEBER, he's down the order in around P8, I think, with a bit of traffic to pass. But of course, we know how quick the man is. We know how quick that Renault can be in the hands of him, especially. So don't count him out just yet. But for now, he's a little bit nerfed at this Grand Prix. And maybe Butler is as well. Because look at this. George Russell has just overtaken his teammate. And look at the massive dive bomb from Max Verstappen. Butler, in a blink of an eye, might be down to P4 here. It's all crumbling for my two rivals of Butler and WEBER. Speaking of who, WEBER trying to make a move on Antonio Giovinazzi in the Haas, trying to get up the positions. I think this is sort of P8 or 7 this is in the top 10, but still some ways down the road, but he's going to try to make his way through. Meanwhile, Butler's going backwards, so they might meet in the middle. Meanwhile, then back in our world, at lap number 17, it's been a pretty quiet second stint up until now, because a very quick George Russell is coming at me at a rate of knots in that Red Bull car with DRS. We defend successfully for one corner and chicane there, but we've got another to come up. We're going to be defenseless here with DRS for the Brit, but we're going to cover him off on the left. Very aggressive on the defensive move here, but to be fair, I'm thinking now, in hindsight, maybe not the best thing. I maybe should have let him go, because the more fighting I do here, possibly the further back I'm going to go. But at the same time, I'm kind of torn, because I'd rather also try and win out this season and do it in style, you know, go for the win. Why not? Obviously, I could play the kind of Alan Prost card and just do the bare minimum, but if I could get a win, I'm going to try the win. And for now, well, like I said, the second stint was pretty quiet for me, just having to look after my tyres, because at this stage, I was still thinking about a one-stop as we watch on with Devin Butler finally making up the order. So he's woken up in this second stint, He's back into P2. I wonder if Red Bull have ordered Russell to let him through, because obviously Russell's not in the championship fight himself, but Butler then up into P2. But like I was saying just before that, I am still kind of pondering whether I do a one-stop on these mediums, drag them out, because that could be a possibility, you know, around here with the tyre wear levels. But now, there is maybe the instigator. Butler comes in, Verstappen's in, and also my teammate Lucas Weber's in. So, this definitely, I think, confirms to us we should switch strategies then, stick with the two-stop. For a long time in that second stint, I can't lie, I was heavily considering a one-stop, because so many times in the past, in this very career mode, AI have jumped me with a one-stop around here. But I think the smarter thing to do is cover off Butler and Weber, because it seems like I do have some decent race pace around here, so I may as well go on to that set of soft tyres. They've gone onto a set of mediums, so they don't think the tyre wear is going to be enough. I'm going to gamble on it and go on the softs, because I'd rather have that kind of punchier, soft compound in this last stint. But the cleverer thing and the safer option is to cover them both off with the second pit stop, because if my medium tyres were to go off the cliff completely at the end of the race, then I'll be defenseless completely. So we've made that pit stop, we've made that call, we're sticking to the original two-stop strategy, not trying anything too clever with that kind of oblonged one-stop with the mediums. And so we're going to come out behind a few cars here, but it should be in a net P1, I believe, as we come out just ahead of the Alfa Romeo of Dan Kvyat, who's looking pretty feisty though here, as he closes up quite rapidly on a set of medium tyres. Of course, my tyres a little bit cold out of the pit lane. Just behind Kvyat, I think, is Butler, ahead of some traffic, so he's done well to get in some somewhat clean air, I guess. But the Alfa Romeo looking quite punchy on the exit. We're going to have no DRS off the car ahead of me, unfortunately, a little bit too far back there, so the Alfa will come knocking here. So my very first original team in this career mode coming through. We're going to go defensive on the inside, but like the move with Russell, at this stage I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to fight Kvyat. I'm going to try and keep position, because I think Kvyat's out of sync of this race. I think he's going a lot longer in this Grand Prix than I am at this stage, so there is kind of some use to staying ahead of him on track. But also at the same time, I don't want to do anything too aggressive here, but Kvyat is really trying to force the issue. We're going to be so close on the right-hand side there with the front right tyre. We're going to continue to stick with him, and we're practically pushing him through the first corner now, so we really want to try and get a move on and re-overtake him now as we go the long way around through turns 1 and maybe turn 2. Yes, it's going to be a fantastic little move there. Kvyat's still got his nose in though, so the Russian is doing a fantastic job as he sends it down the inside. We have to give him the space there because he's alongside us, but then into the hairpin we squeeze him out. But he's just going to get another great run through this hairpin, unfortunately. The Alfa Romeo is pretty damn quick, it would seem, and of course we know how slow this Renault has been relative to the other teams so far in this season. So the Alfa, you know, there's no match for me basically, and comes through and waltzes up into what is now P2 on the track, but of course might be P1 eventually, because I think the car ahead of us is also yet to make a pit stop. I'm not actually too sure what on earth Kvyat's strategy is at this stage, I can't lie. Lap 21 and he's still on a set of mediums. Like maybe he's doing the one stop that I was thinking about doing as we overtake him now on the left. But again, he's putting up such a mega fight there. So we had a titanic battle with our two championship rivals earlier in the race, and now ironically trying to go for this championship in this final episode, I'm fighting my very first team in this career mode for the race win, because Kvyat goes up into first place, and it literally is first on the road as he locks up though, and we get it back down the inside. He's flustered a little bit. We're still neck and neck. He pushes me out wide on the curb. It's a really poor bit of traction as the rear tyre does not pick up on the curb there. Hamilton's in the mix, Verstappen as well, and this is for first place. I fully think these cars are going to the end of the Grand Prix. Verstappen now makes a horrendous dive for the second time in this Grand Prix. Now there's contact with Verstappen, and he's pushed us wide. We've half spun and we've held it through and kept it in a straight line on the runoff area to keep on fighting. But now we're down to P3 or 4 as we go side by side with Hamilton through that double right-hander into the hotel section. Verstappen now into first place of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Kvyat second, Hamilton third. We're going to close back up to the Merc and Alfa Romeo though as we get right up the back. Oh my, how close is that? 3 wide with those two, but now way too deep into that brake zone there, so we're making some really bad errors now at this last stage of the Grand Prix. Now Devin Butler out of nowhere, where's he come from? He's just swooped round the outside and he's up into P3 now ahead of us, and that might be a very crucial move. Kvyat goes defensive, we're going to go on the attack. It's 3 wide again between Alfa, Red Bull and Renault this time. Butler and Kvyat now tangle in the next section. We've got to try and use this to our advantage. We've got to use Kvyat to pull Butler in. I think it's going to be a bit too much of an ask here as we go through the next double right-hander into the hotel section. We're going to stick behind Butler and go for the next lap on lap 24, but we've only got 4 laps left in this Grand Prix, and as it stands, Butler P3, me P4, I believe WEBER is only a few positions back now in P7, so this entire mass traffic and fighting with the likes of the Alfa, the Mercedes, the Ferrari has really hampered us in this last stint, and really also put our tyre wear into disrepute, because the tyres are really feeling quite second hand now as we try and look on to overtake Butler in a straight line. Hamilton's also getting in the mix. It's 3 wide again into this chicane. We try and force Hamilton off circuit, but he's having none of it. These other drivers not involved in the championship, they don't give any crap. They're trying to get involved and get stuck in. I fully tried to push Hamilton completely off there to get the move on done on Butler, but he's having none of it, and now he's blocking me off into the third sector as now Hamilton goes the long way around. He taps Butler though, and that's going to help me out. Can we go on the right? Yes, we can. So in the end, Hamilton does help me just slightly there, tap Butler in the middle sector, and we're able to get that move back ahead of our championship rival. And speaking of, he's now being overtaken by Lance Stroll. So Butler, he was looking pretty quick there, but now he's slowing down again. The Ferrari's overtaken him. He's down to, I think that's P5 now in this Grand Prix, and WEBER now is only right. Oh my! No! Oh, you cannot be serious! In the final race, in the championship decider, Devin Butler has an engine failure. The Red Bull goes up in smokes. I was about to say Lucas WEBER was right up behind Butler, so it was actually closing up quite nicely there. But now Butler, it's a calamity for the Red Bull team, and he is out of this race and out of the championship contention. So it is literally now me versus Lucas WEBER, and WEBER is only, I think, 2 positions behind us, and I'm just seemingly going backwards now with the tyre wear we've got on the soft tyres compared to the mediums. I made the complete wrong call here on the tyres for sure, because obviously remember, I had no new set of soft tyres. All my soft tyres were used sets from qualifying, so I probably should have thought about that and gone even safer with my safe 2-stop and just gone to the mediums like everyone else. But now we're paying the price. So we're on the second last lap of the Grand Prix. Stroll's just overtaken me. We're going to look to try and re-overtake him. Behind me is Russell and WEBER in that order, so we've still got a good buffer to our last remaining championship rival in this race as we make a little bit of contact with Stroll, still trying to get the move done for P4 and just have one more hurdle between myself and WEBER, but we're so slow on the exit with the traction there. We've got DRS, but Stroll's defending so well in a straight line. That Ferrari's very decent, but we're going to still try and get the move done if we can. Lock up on the front left again, oh so close with the Ferrari, and this is giving me PTSD because the last time we were there with a Ferrari car, we nearly got half spun round by Max Verstappen. But now look at that, look who's behind us. Lucas WEBER, he's overtaken George Russell now. So as we now move on to the last lap then, this is getting very tetchy as Russell now goes to re-overtake the German though, but WEBER on the better medium tyres, although I think he's got some damage on the front wing, you know, I can see. I think potentially from when Butler was retiring, I think his front wing end plate's off, but he's still pretty decent with the mediums, and Russell now has got a very good run and is looking very dangerous on this last lap. Just need to take this a little bit calm and make sure we don't make a massive error here to lose the position on WEBER. I mean, Russell at this stage could overtake me, and he does round the outside, because you can see that's how bad my tyres are. They're absolutely shot now at this stage on this final lap onto the final sector. Oh no, it's 3 wide between myself, Russell and WEBER. WEBER the long way around. Russell's completely just cut the curb and brake checked us, and we made contact with WEBER. We've now got damage on the front wing, so now we're squabbling with Lucas WEBER into the last sector. We're going to be side by side. WEBER commits to the double right-hander into the hotel. This is insanity. Both of us with damage on the front wing, squabbling over P6 and 7 to seal out the championship. And we're just going to do it though, I think, through the final 2 corners. My God, my heart is racing. We almost lost that, but we are going to come through the last corner to come through and seal our 5th World Drivers' Championship with Renault F1 and sign out F1 2019 career mode in some style.
An incredible year for Formula 1, and our drivers have all pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula 1 World Drivers' Champion.
there we have it. We've done it. We've done it in the most stressful way possible, but we've won our 5th Drivers' World Championship and sealed out the last season here on F1 2019 Career Mode with a double championship win. We obviously got the Constructors a few races ago, and now the championship win over our teammate Lucas Weber and Devin Butler. But my word, what a final race. I mean, when I made contact with Lucas Weber there, that last sector, I thought that was game over. I thought there's no way I can hold this through side by side when he committed to that double right-hander into the hotel section. I thought for sure he had it because the AI surely can drive better than me with a broken front wing, but we just pulled it off there. And then besides that, Butler having an engine failure then at the end was dramatic enough there. A shame for him, but then obviously the start of that Grand Prix was something else. That first stint was unbelievable. It was a bit of a weird Grand Prix. For so long I thought I was going to make that one stop work, and then suddenly everyone, you know, forced the hand basically and just, you know, went early with the 2-stop, and so that allowed me to do the same. But then of course we made that mistake by going onto the softs that just went off so quickly at the end of that race, so it really made things difficult for myself. But in the end we did the job. We got the championship win in what was, honestly, I've got to say, and I think you guys will agree with me, those of you who've watched me for a few years at least, probably the toughest vanilla career mode season I've ever done on any F1 game. Like, Weber's AI was just unreal. Even Butler's AI, and that's the last third of the season, was on a different level in terms of qualifying consistency and even in the race and some of the ones he dominated. So to still, in the end, come out and win it, and in the way we did, I mean, I banged on about it in the race, but I just have to because it's so poetic and so unreal that we managed to see that situation where we went 3 wide with our 2 championship rivals, and in the exact same ordering as it was back in my very first episode of this entire series. You know, almost a year ago, all the way, what was it, end of June 2019 was when I recorded that episode of Butler on my left, Weber on my right in the F2 cars, and the fact that we're going to finish out this season and career mode series doing the exact same thing but in the F1 cars is just amazing. Like, that is such a great storyline payoff, and I've got to give a massive shout out and thanks to Codemasters for obviously putting in the F2 story mode. And I think, in my opinion, I think they definitely coded the AI to be better than most of the other AIs in this game, because they gave me a massive fight. But that is it then. That is the end of not only this season, but like I said, the end of this entire series of vanilla career mode on F1 2019. These are the full stats then, if you are curious, over 6 seasons. 25 wins in the end, 15 pole positions, 5 Drivers' Championship wins, and 3 Constructors. It's been a hell of a series to record, guys. There's been so many countless battles, countless overtakes, and crazy moments. And if you stuck around for all 126 episodes, I really do appreciate it. Guys, if you did enjoy this one and also did enjoy the entire series, then be sure to smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava, and that has been my F1 2019 career mode. Goodbye.